What is up, everybody, and welcome to FLW Videos. In today's episode, we're going to be performing a deep dive on the Pokemon Gigalith in Pokemon Go. Now, for whatever reason, I've simply just not done a deep dive on this Pokemon, but for the most part, it was because of how stupid rare this Pokemon was, especially as a non-legendary Pokemon. I thought it might be a waste of time to cover it in a deep dive series, but now it is becoming more widely available throughout the Enigma week, where Roggenrola is officially getting itself a shiny variation added in during the Enigma week. And of course, people are going to be out there doing raids, trying to catch it in the wild, and hopefully get enough candy to get themselves a Gigalith. So we're going to be covering this Pokemon today from a raid perspective, PvP perspective, as well as answering some core common questions for this Pokemon, like should you power it up? Is it worth unlocking a secondary charge move? And of course, discussing so much more about this Pokemon. So if you do enjoy the deep dive series, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll into the episode. So Gigalith has a max AP of 3,175, so definitely impressive from that standpoint. And then when we take a look at its stats, just generally speaking, it's a fairly good set of stats all around. This is a very well-rounded Pokemon. Also could be a little bit of its demise since it doesn't really have anything that just truly sticks out. As far as its ranking is actually concerned, its defense stat is technically the highest rank, but hey, the attack stat's right behind that, and with an attack stat of 226, it's looking pretty good. So as long as we have a solid moveset, I think this Pokemon has a lot of potential in Pokemon Go. It has an overall ranking of 80th, by the way, and of course is a pure rock type Pokemon, so we are going to be focusing on it from the rock typing. And another kind of thing going on with it is related to the moveset. It just makes it difficult to pair it with another moveset typing. It doesn't have a double of anything else besides the rock typing. Like, for example, we've got Mud Slap on the fast moves. That's a great move, but we don't have any type of ground move to pair with that, so it can be fairly difficult from that perspective. But the main moves that we're going to be looking at today are going to be the moves Smackdown as well as the move Rock Slide. And that is a very good set of moves. You may also know another Pokemon known as Rampardos that has these movesets as well. So that's going to be a great comparison Pokemon to, of course, go up against. So we've got all of that covered. And then I also wanted to briefly mention that it is going to be 50 candy to unlock a secondary charge move, and of course cost 50,000 Stardust along the way. So now that we talked about the Pokemon stats, we've talked about the Pokemon's moveset, let's actually go ahead and get into some of those raid simulations. So for the raid portion, we're going to run up against two different simulations, a Moltres as well as Articuno. Now in these particular cases, both of them are double weak to the rock typing. Hence we are going to see rock type Pokemon dominating this list, and we can figure out exactly where Gigalith falls into line. And I'll also be talking about some of the Pokemon up above it and why it may actually be a better performer than what it shows in the simulations. So let's go ahead and scroll down and see what we've got. This is going to be level 40 data, and it's also going to include Shadow Pokemon. We have to go down to the number 7 position to finally find Gigalith there. And just to give a little bit of a point of reference, it's the next slot behind a Tyranitar with the Smackdown Community Day exclusive move. That's a beast of a Pokemon, so of course Gigalith being slightly behind that just goes to show how great this Pokemon actually is. But once again, it's in the 7th position, right? Well, that's a little bit of a caveat though, because if you go ahead and take a look around, you've got 2 Tyranitars that require a Community Day exclusive move, and then you also have a Rhyperior that also requires a Community Day exclusive move. Maybe you don't have those, maybe you don't have a lot of them and you're looking to fill in the remainder of your rock type team. And then even Shadow Omastar is also a little bit of a caveat as well, because it requires the double legacy moveset, and let's just be honest, not that many people are going to do that, especially to that Shadow variation. Maybe you have one, but generally speaking, not that many people are going to have one. So honestly, to some extent, you could just look at it like this potentially and just say, you know what, Gigalith is honestly not that bad of an option. Of course, Rampardos is one of my all-time favorite rock type attackers because it is a non-legendary. It has been fairly available in the wild, and it's the number 1 performer from the rock type. So you can see Gigalith as a more rare but less good version of a Rampardos. I think that that's going to be an accurate representation of that. And then when we go ahead and check out the simulations for Articuno, we're seeing a very similar setup here. So I wanted to just go ahead and show that it's fairly consistent where it's in at that 7th position, but some Pokemon up above it simply aren't that great. So of course, take it with a grain of salt. So now that we have talked about this, let's actually go ahead and move on to the PvP section. So from the PvP side, I went ahead and ran all the simulations to figure out where it ends up working out the best, and it actually does best in the Premier Cup for the Master League. Now let's go ahead and discuss the benefits of this. So because it is the Master League, you of course want to go with a 100% IV, and then of course you want to max out this Pokemon since it is for the Master League. By the way, the Premier Cup just excludes the legendary Pokemon as well as the mythical Pokemon, but there's a lot of synergy going on with this from the raid side as well as the PvP side. Number one, of course, you want to get 100% IVs. You want to power up that Pokemon as much as you possibly can. But then as far as the idle movesets are concerned, it also contains Smackdown as well as Rock Slide. That is literally a perfect synergy between both the raid side and the PvP side, which means this Pokemon would just be ready to go however you want to use it, and the only added thing that you would have to do is unlock a secondary charge move to get yourself that move superpower unlocked along the way. So I think that from that regard, it's looking extremely good. We don't really see a lot of Pokemon like that in Pokemon Go, but Gigalith does have that going on. Its key pickups versus Togekiss and Snorlax are huge, by the way, but when you go down a little bit further, it's really not that big of a deal. And then finally, the key losses may outweigh the key wins here because you're talking about some extremely meta Pokemon that a lot of people have and a lot of people use in this particular case. So unfortunately for Gigalith, it's going to be a no for me trying to power this up specifically for PvP. So what exactly do we have going on with this Pokemon? What are my tips? What are my opinions on this Pokemon? Well, with it being at the number 7th position, I'm automatically thinking, yeah, this is going to be a big no for powering it up from the raid side, especially because you have a Pokemon like Rampardos that is really overshadowing this Pokemon. It kind of fits a lot of the same boxes, has the same moveset, non-legendary, has the same typing. Unfortunately for Gigalith, it kind of is negatively falling away from Rampardos, where it's going to be a little rare and it's going to get worse performance. So you of course want to go with a Pokemon like Rampardos. So for me, powering up this Pokemon is not going to be a priority by any means. It's going to be something that I do just for fun, especially if I get myself a shiny variation. And then of course unlocking it from the PvP side, it just doesn't have the performance for me to justify spending all of that Stardust specifically for PvP. But it's still going to be an amazing Pokemon. It looks fantastic though, so you got to give it that. But I would love to know what you think about Gigalith in the comment section below. Are you going to go out there, get yourself the shiny variation and then stop? Or are you going to try to get as many as you possibly can? Anything and everything, all of your thoughts about Gigalith, let me know in the comment section below, and I will see you next time. Huge shout out to the supporters over at Patreon. If you would like to get exclusive perks, make sure to check out that link in the description, and I will see you next time.